Hello everybody, this is Dr. Kevin Novak again. What I'm going to talk about is how to make a plenum, a moving water plenum with sand, since a lot of people like to have sand, use it as a substrate. The first thing you're going to have to do is go out and buy a cheap under gravel filter. Don't buy expensive pen plaques, buy one of these cheaper ones that have the flat bottom plates to it. There's different manufacturers like Lee. There's another manufacturer like PetSmart makes their own. But this is what you need, just a cheap under gravel filter plate that will fit your particular tank. This works on any size tank, everything from a nano tank all the way up to hundreds and hundreds of gallons. Don't go out and buy anything expensive, just buy these cheap ones. As you can see, they're extremely cheap. And Petco sells them and everybody sells them. In fact, I use the one you're looking at right now in my antique fish tank. The next thing you're going to want to buy after you do that is you're going to buy ground fabric. This is a weed blocker fabric. All hardware stores sell this. It's nothing new. 3M makes it. It looks like it's a fiberglass, but it's a very fine mesh and allows water to penetrate and oxygen, but won't allow dirt and gravel and sand to go through it. So what you're going to do is you're going to set your under gravel filter. You're going to put the lift tube, one lift tube connected to it. A lot of these cheap under gravel filters can connect up together. And once you connect everything up together, just on these under gravel filters, you put the ground fabric on top. Then when you cut that out, then what you do is you place your sand on top of that. And that stops the sand from siphoning through the under gravel filter to the bottom. And this allows the sand to build up to 1-2 inches or whatever you want. You're going to use a Planet tank, whatever. You can buy any kind of sand you want. That's your preference. This is, as you can see with this plate right here, you see that little part of the lift tube? It disconnects from the top part. You're not going to put that top part on. You're just going to have the small part connected up. And you're only going to have one lift tube to your under gravel filter. It doesn't matter whether you have a 55 or whatever. There's two ways you can move water through this bed, and you don't want to move it fast. You want to move it slow. One is through airlift, where you just put the stone and it would only airlift through the little small 3-inch top. Or you can buy one of these. These are surface skimmers. Fluval makes it. This one I think could be the Fluval one. And of course, the one I use is Tom's. Right here. I use this exact one in my aquarium. And what you do is, this is able to, with a little bit of a modification, which I will show you. This is the way it originally comes. It comes with a airlift. You remove the center part, you remove the skimmer off, and you're going to have it open. Then you're going to have the L-shaped inlet tube. And it has a strainer built in it. The strainer you will have to cut off. So when you're done, it's basically going to look just like this. This then will fit over the little lift tube that you left on your under gravel filter. The other end connects up to a canister filter or hang on the back filter. And of course the top, you would put a strainer on the top. Now, according to the laws of physics, what's going to happen here is you're barely going to be sucking any water from the bottom. It'll basically be sucking 99% of the water through this strainer. It's only physics, because water takes the path of least resistance. If you want to use the airlift method, what's going to happen is there's so much resistance, barely any air is going to come out of the little small lift tube that you have. You don't want the lift tube to go all the way to the top. You only want it to be about 3 inches high. Put your air stone in it and run an air stone. It's not going to move water very fast. A normal lift tube, 1-inch lift tube, moves about 50 to 70 gallons per hour by air. But doing it this way, you're not going to move water gallons per hour. You're going to move about 1 to 2 gallons a day out from the bottom of that plenum. That's all. And this Eheim right here, this is a Eheim Classic, is connected up to one of those lift tubes, the toms, in this tank right here. And that tank's been set up for over 25 years now. And it's a fine substrate I use. And behind there, the lift tubes go into the tom, and that's how it's been working. And I break this tank down about every 10 years. And the nitrates in this tank are extremely low, under 10 parts per million, even lower than that, usually around 5. And I do a water change about every 6 months in this tank. Now this tank does not have CO2 or anything else, so the plants grow very, very slow. But anyhow, that's how you use sand on a plenum. You just make it so the water moves very, very slowly from the bottom of the plenum, and with that screen cover on it, the sand won't migrate down into your undergravel filter. Like I said, you may have to break it down about every 10 years. But even in 10 years, I found very, very little to no dirt at all in the bottom of that plenum using one of these methods. Anyhow, I saw a video where the guy said, I wish somebody would tell me how to use sand with an undergravel filter, and that's the way you do it. You can't pump a lot of water fast through a sand filter or using sand, because sand compacts so easily that you have to actually make a plenum and move the water slowly, 1-2 gallons a day. That's very slowly. So the water's constantly being exchanged in the bottom of that plenum, and it's actually able to come through the sand very slowly. This is great for planted tanks. It's great for anything else. And you come up with no hydrogen sulfide pockets. In other words, you're growing in the bed, you'll grow more facultative bacteria and no anaerobic bacteria, obligated anaerobic bacteria. So I hope this helps you in case you decide you want to go sand in your tanks, and this is the way to do it. At least this is the way I found out to do it about 25 years ago through me experimenting, because every time I used sand, it turned black at the bottom of my tank. I know some people claim, oh, mine doesn't, but mine always did, especially if you had your sand over 1 inch thick. Anyhow, until next time, good luck on your fish tanks, and thank you for watching.